be happy to take a few questions. Yes, Ian.
What are your comments about MM and SM weighing in on the battle in Aljunied?
I think PM has already made clear that his position is different from MM's. MM's views, being MM, we naturally respect. But for the purpose of this GE, we take our orders and our direction from PM.
Do you think that this is in any way indicate that you need help in fighting Aljunied? You can't fight this battle alone?
PM made it clear from the beginning that this will be our fight, but if we need help from him, he will do all he can to help us. But I would say that for this campaign, it has been largely the five of us.
我可以讲华语吗 ？OK， 跟他讲到说有 MM 有 SM， 然后 PM 都出来帮你助选了，你觉得会带来反效果吗？
I think they have.
Can you translate the question?
The involvement of MM and SM and PM in our against us. No, I don't think so. I think they've made it clear that they have confidence in the Aljunied team. They have been supportive of us. They have not tried to interfere in our campaign. They left it to us because they know that we know the battlefield and our opponents better than they do.
Okay, yesterday, because there's a SM remarks, they say that you vote out George Yeo. What mistake has he made? Ask yourself. You can take a minister, criticize him for not delivering, perhaps on housing, on transport. Wong Kan Sing, you can say vote him out because he let Maslamat escape. How do you feel? This,
no, I thank SM for its compliment. Yes.
Sylvia Lim said last night that voting for the WP would serve as a wake-up call for PAP, and she cited the 1991 election as an example, saying that PAP therefore set up the cost review committee after that. How will you counter the argument, and what will you say to residents who are weighing all these things and saying, well, the PAP has done such a good job over the last 5 years in upgrading our estate, let's give the opposition a chance?
If she doesn't win, she should seriously reconsider being an NCMP. Because as an NCMP, she was not ineffective.
Can I ask you for some clarification about the accounts that you were asking about Rotia company? Are you indicating there's something not appropriate with the accounts?
No, I did not say that. I'm just contrasting it with the experience that I've had with my own HUDC precinct, which was really straightforward. The residents had the benefit of not just the accounts as they were, but also projections, into a few years ahead, so that they could decide whether they should go ahead with the privatization and how much they would need to chip in if they want to build a fence and so on. So I was really quite surprised that the residents in the HUDC precinct in Hougang were not able to get that, despite having already achieved the mandate themselves, were not able to get that those set of accounts, which are really quite straightforward. And then I was also told that they kept asking, they had radio silence at the town council's end, to the extent that they actually had to write a sort of lawyer's letter to formally request for the accounts. And up to now, as far as I understand, they still have not heard from the town council.
Minister, what would you say to voters who say that, you know what, we'll take a chance. For the next 5 years, if we don't like the team that we voted, we will vote them out. So what is your response to that?
If after careful consideration they take that position, I will respect their decision.
Does it bother you when voters decide to vote for the PAP team, but not because of support, but because they fear that they will be pushed to the last for upgradation?
Say that again?
Does it bother you when voters decide to cast their vote for PAP, but not because of their support for the team, but because they fear that they will be put to the last for upgrading in future?
We all vote in our own self-interest, and we vote hoping that we have better access, better connections. We have someone who have a more powerful voice to speak up on our behalf. So I have no problem with that. Yes.
What would you have to say to voters who say that the competition for the opposition has been good so far because the PAP are revising some of their policies, they're tweaking things, so really having opposition was good. So what do you have to say?
No, it's been an intense campaign, and whatever happens on May the 7th, all sides will go back, do a self-analysis, and try to improve. We will do it for sure in a very cold-blooded, objective way, and I'm sure they too on the opposition side will do it. They should do it.
May I add to that, Minister? I mean, that would presuppose, as you know, when PAP was in power without opposition, how many years? 16 years, I think. As though PAP got stuck in that position without tweaking policies, without changing policies or refining policies. But PAP's philosophy of governance has always been improving on things with the kind of feedback system that we have, internal, external, and it's an ongoing process of changing and tweaking and revising policies. So I don't see, because of opposition or because of opposition activities, that we will do more.
Well, let's talk about the upgrading plans, right? The Workers' Party's Mr. George Yeo, he actually questioned whether PAP actually knows what the residents want and what is actually essential for the residents before implementing your upgrading plan. That's what he said.
He's wrong.
Minister, I just want to go back to your point earlier. You mentioned that there were two programs that you highlighted, and one of them is the upgrading of home improvement scheme. Can you tell us whether or not voters or Aljunied residents can expect more when it comes to the home improvement scheme in terms of priority, whether you'll be pushing very hard for that, and also will there be a massive expansion if you do it?
MND has, it's going to be a major program for MND for the next 10 years. Certain categories of flats built in over certain periods will be eligible. We have our share of those flats, and as Cynthia said earlier, criteria will be laid out as to which precincts will qualify first, and we are going to fight very hard to make sure that we are high up on the queue.
Is that what you're telling residents? Meaning, if you do win, then you get a chance to be up in the queue, up first in the queue?
That we'll fight for them, absolutely.
You mentioned that sometimes when you walk the road, you notice a stark difference in the housing estates of Aljunied GRC versus Aljunied SMC. But yesterday, Mr. George actually cited some figures from HDB website saying that Hougang SMC's flats are actually much more valuable than those in the precincts managed by PAP. So what's your response to that?
This is not a theoretical exercise. I mean, just walk from one side to the other. Yeah. In the day or at night?
What do you see as difference between the two sides? What have you observed?
Cynthia has flats which...
I dropped into Hougang SMC now and then with my husband because we are just living across the street of the Hougang SMC. My invitation is to you is to just take a walk, and you really can see the difference. But in terms of the upkeep and maintenance itself, all right, it's definitely there's a difference, all right. And I went there for dinner sometimes with the grassroots because just across the road from my estate as well. The brightness, you can also tell the difference, all right. So go and have a look because it's so near and it's just across the street. You can tell the difference.
I don't think we want to really talk about Hougang. I mean, because Mr. Lau Tia Kiang, when asked whether he will be able to run Aljunied GRC, said, look at Hougang, it's not a slum. So I'm just responding to that. It's not for us to pass judgment on Hougang SMC because the voters there had decided. Yes.
Upgrading, because there are some views from voters that Aljunied GRC at the moment is very well managed. So even if they get pushed into the last of the queue upgrading in future, there is not much of a concern for voters. What do you have to say?
I disagree. I mean, for ceilings with spalling concrete, for toilets with rusting pipes. These are big headaches for the families. And you can patch things, but it's not the same as the HIP, where the repair works are comprehensive and fundamental.
Maybe I should just add that our experience with the lift upgrading system, which programs, which is largely towards the end of completion, has been that people look forward to it. They want to have it, and they would want to work out the layouts that are most conducive to ultimately enhancing the asset value of the properties as well.
So we already have one or two programs. We have two programs in the GRC, kind of pilot programs for the HIP, and they are enthusiastically received by the residents.
In fact, we have 90% in terms of 90%.
Each has got to be voted on, like for lift upgrading, because the residents will have to pay a proportion of the total cost. But each HIP will be heavily subsidized. Yes. Oh, past the 23rd trimester. No, there's still many undecided votes. And residents tell us that they are still thinking. But I'm surprised by how carefully they have read materials. When I visited a condo yesterday, someone told me that he's gone through every page of the Workers' Party manifesto, which is quite admirable, and every page of the PAP manifesto. And he grilled me. And I believe a number of them will only make their decision on cooling off day. So we are taking no one for granted. We are fighting as if every vote hangs in the balance. Well, yes, because there's a lot of material. I mean,
Earlier, actually, just a while ago, Mr. Lau Teow Kiang was talking about how Singaporeans and voters are buying into the idea of this first world parliament. And I know that the PAP team does not like that phrasing whatsoever and questions that phrasing. But now he says that people are understanding and buying into that. How concerned are you?
I'm surprised to hear that.
Why do you say that? Why do you say you're surprised?
Because that's not the impression I get when I go around talking to our residents.
Mr. Just now, an earlier question about Foreign Minister. I know you're very humble, Minister. I thought maybe I just add a bit to say, I'm troubled actually by when Workers' Party makes light of Foreign Minister's position, of trying to be his human resource director, appointing president and ambassador. When I think when we have one of the best foreign ministers, and when Workers' Party take it lightly and they feel as though it's not necessary, as long as they can win, to me it's quite troubling for Singapore. And I feel Singaporeans should really seriously think hard in terms of the quality of people that we have. We want the best people in cabinet, rather than having just unqualified co-drivers, horning here and there, trying to get attention. Thank you.
Okay, last two questions, please. Thank you. Yes.
Sir, about the Workers' Party, a lot of people feel that because of the strong PAP leadership, so losing one GRC or one team, one minister may not be to the voters themselves. It may not seriously dent the entire cabinet. But if Workers' Party will lose this GRC, it could mean the end of the world for the opposition. So how do you?
No, we won't know, because every constituency is a separate battle. And we'll only know after the votes are counted on May the 7th. Each contest is a separate contest. Yes?
I just wanted to follow up on Mr. Zai's point. Yesterday, SM said that you are a core member of PNC. Could you share a little about your role in the cabinet and what kind of value add do you bring to it besides as foreign affairs minister?
No, I'm not comfortable talking about myself. Let others make their judgments.
Imagine, you have one of the candidates from the Workers' Party team having to sit down, discuss international issues, and engage with Hillary Clinton, which I think Minister George Yeo does excellently well.
Thank you very much for coming.